Okay, here we go for like the third time. Okay, so this is my personal story about my scoliosis journey. So when I was in 3rd grade, I found out that I had scoliosis, which that led to many trips up to Duluth to see a specialist and have x-rays done every 6 months. After a while, like a year or two maybe, I think I was in 5th grade, yeah, so a year or two, I think. Maybe 4th, but I'm not sure. Okay, anyways, a year or two later, my back progressed to 27 degrees, and which is not bad, but it's not normal. I still had a curve in my back, but then my doctor gave me a back brace to wear at night, and I wore that for a year to a year and a half, and then it was so uncomfortable because it was a huge piece it was like plastic, and on one side it would come up to here, and then the other side it would only go like to here. Can't really see that, but and then it would go all the way down to my hips, and one side of it would go down my leg a little ways. But it was, especially in the summer, I'd sweat as I'm sleeping, and it was horrible, and it'd rub on the side that was under your arm, and it just wasn't comfortable. So I quit wearing it, and Mom was very mad at me, but I just couldn't wear it anymore. And then it ended up getting too small for me, so we had to throw it away. Then a few years later, my 8th grade year, I started complaining about my back hurting again really bad. So after a few months of complaining, my mom finally took me to Duluth to see the specialist again. And he took x-rays and whatever, and that day, the first appointment that we went to since I quit wearing my back brace, he told me that I need surgery. It wasn't a maybe, it wasn't a we'll think about it, or we'll see how far you progress in this amount of time. It was a yes, you need surgery. My back progressed from 27 degrees to 43 degrees. Or no, 46. And then, so we had set up an appointment to have my physical, because I needed a physical in order to have the surgery. But I also needed to never mind. Okay, but then I needed to set up the date for my surgery. So we did, and it was supposed to be like, I'm almost positive it was the day before Christmas. So Christmas Eve. And then I was supposed to be in there throughout New Year's Eve and whatever. But yeah. So we set that up, whatever. And then a week or two later, I ended up getting a really bad sore throat, and I ended up getting mono. And my doctor in Moose Lake here told me that, oh yeah, your doctor he'll still do the surgery when it was supposed to be, no rescheduling or anything. They treated me, you should be fine, blah 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 blah. Well, then my doctor called and said he will not do the surgery for another at least 8 weeks, just to make sure that I am fully covered from the mono, because he doesn't want anything to go wrong during the surgery, which is understandable. But I was really upset, and it was really hard because my back had been bothering me a while, like a lot worse, and it just got to be too much, you know, like. But then my mama was over and we set up another appointment, and it was for like sometime in January. I can't remember what the date was, but I remember it was a Friday night. I got home from school, and that next Monday, I was supposed to be, or the following Monday, I was supposed to be having surgery. So I got home from school, and I fell asleep on the couch, and then around 5 o'clock, my mom got home. And she told me the worst news I could ever hear. And that is that my doctor would not do the surgery, or he couldn't do the surgery because something went wrong again. So I started bawling my eyes out. Like, I was so sick of having to change my date of my surgery, and I just wanted to get it done and over with and be able to have the surgery and feel good again. Well, then we reset the surgery date to February 23rd. On February 23rd, I went in I got up at about, I think we had to be at the hospital at 7:30 in the morning, I believe, or 6:30. I don't know. But we got up at like 5 a.m., I think. And we left around 6:30, 6:30, somewhere in there. And we got to the hospital, we checked in and everything, and my grandma, my dad, my stepmom, and my mom were there. And got ready for surgery, got changed and whatever, and pretty soon I was off in the surgery room thing, and it was freezing in there. I remember that. I remember going in there and it was just so cold, and I was just shivering, and they covered me up with a warm blanket. And I remember that as they were putting me asleep, the lady was asking me about what my dog's name was, and that's the last thing I remembered. And then my mom said the surgery was about an 8 to 9 hour surgery. I had 2 12-inch rods put on each side of my spine, and I have 17 screws holding each of them in. No, 17 screws altogether holding them. But I remember coming, like, after surgery, I remember coming out of ICU when I was like, not ICU, I don't know what they're called, but I was like just waking up. I could, like, I knew what was going on and everything, whatever. And I just remember crying the second I saw my mom, and she was crying because she was so happy that surgery went okay, obviously. I mean, but then I was in surgery, or not surgery, I was in the hospital for 7 days after that, and it was horrible. Honestly, it was really horrible. I couldn't do it. It was so hard to move. It was nothing like I imagined. It was so much worse. Like, every time I wanted to roll over, I needed help. Like, it was horrible, and I just, it wasn't fun. I can tell you that. But then I couldn't walk whatsoever for days. Like, I don't think I could walk until about 3 days before I left. I would stand up. I think they got me up the day after surgery, and I would just get pale, like white as a ghost, and almost pass out. And like, I'd start like almost like I was gonna cry, but I wasn't crying, and I'd be like, I need to lay down, I need to lay down, and I'd just tense up and whatever. The second I'd lay down, I'd be perfectly fine. And oh my gosh, if they wouldn't lay me down, if they'd just be like, oh, just wait, just wait, just wait, like, no, I need to lay down now or I am going to pass out. It was horrible. I just wanted to sometimes punch the nurses so bad, but obviously I couldn't. But yeah, it was rough. And then I got out of, I think it was ICU. I don't know. It's like where you have the room alone. Whatever. I don't know, but I'm pretty sure it's ICU. But the day I moved to normal room where I had 2 people, well, where there were 2 beds. I didn't have a roommate, but I got up, or they gave me this medicine, like a shot in my arm, I think it was, to help me from passing out and getting lightheaded. So they gave that like 5 minutes to kick in, and then I got up and I walked right down that hallway to my other room, and I was so proud of myself. I have so many pictures, and just, I was so happy. I had the biggest smile on my face. I'm trying to find a picture here. I don't have them on here. Well, okay, I don't, but here's a picture when my little sister came to visit me. I don't know if you can see it. Oh. No, can't really see it. But yeah, this is what my rods in my back look like. Okay, I can't see that. If you want to see pictures, I can show you. Just let me know. I have tons of them, like a lot. And yeah, it was a Sunday, and oh my gosh, they didn't know if they were gonna let me out. And I was so sick of being in the hospital. I was like so depressed from being in the hospital, and I just was homesick and I needed to go home. And this nurse comes in and she's like, well, they're letting you go home. And I was so happy. It was such a relief. I was so excited. I remember that drive home was horrible though, bumps and whatever, but we made it home and it was a relief. I was so happy to be home. It was a horrible experience in the hospital, but on the bright side, it helped a lot, and that surgery I do not regret whatsoever, and honestly I don't think I ever will. It was one of the best decisions of my life that I've made. It was scary because yeah, things can go wrong, but you just gotta trust the doctors because they know what they're doing. And yeah, I still have the rods in my back, and I will have them in my back probably for the rest of my life. I'm gonna have to have another surgery too soon to get more rods in my back. And I'm doing great and healing up great, and